Imagine this. A website says there's only one toy left in stock, and somehow hundreds of people all get an email saying they bought the very last one. That's not just a glitch. That's a race condition. And today, we're going to break down how exactly attackers abuse split-second timing to steal extra stock, double spend, and cause absolute chaos during the holiday rush. All inside day 20 of TryHackMe's Advent of Cyber. Alright, let's head to Santa's checkout page to see how Sir Carabine's band of bunnies broke Christmas and how we can stop it. Oh my goodness. These band of bunnies, they're going to be in a world of trouble once Santa finds out what they've been up to. Oh, hey there. Let me fill you in on what's going on. The Best Festival Company, TBFC, has launched a limited edition sleigh toy with only 10 pieces available at midnight. Within seconds, thousands rushed to buy one. But something strange happened. More than 10 lucky customers received confirmation emails stating that their order was fulfilled. Confusion spread fast. How could everyone have bought the last toy? Miss Kitty was called in to investigate. She quickly noticed that multiple buyers purchased at the exact same moment, slipping through the system's timing flaw. Sir Carabine's mischief band of bunnies have found a way to exploit this chaos, flooding the checkout with rapid clicks. By morning, TBFC faced angry shoppers, missing stock, and a mystery that revealed just how dangerous a few milliseconds could be during the holiday rush. Alright, now before we go hacking Santa's shopping cart, we need to understand just exactly what's going on here. A race condition happens when multiple actions hit a system at the exact same time. The result depends on which one finishes first. Think of it like two kids racing to grab the last cookie off a plate. If mom doesn't step in, you might end up with, well, let's just say more chaos than cookies. So in web apps, race conditions happen when everyone hits checkout at once. The backend goes and checks the stock, but doesn't lock it before processing orders. Two people, or in this case, a whole army of bandit bunnies, slips in at the exact same time, and boom, the system thinks there's still stock even when it's already gone. So generally, race condition attackers can be divided into three separate categories. First, we have time of check to time of use. A TOC/TOU race condition happens when a program checks something first and uses it later, but the data changes in between. This means what was true at the time of the check might no longer be true at the time of action when it happens. It's like checking if a toy is in stock, and by the time you click buy, someone else has already bought it. For example, two users buy the same last item at the exact same time. The stock was checked before it was updated. Shared resources. This occurs when multiple users or systems try to change the same data simultaneously without proper control. Since both updates happen together, the final result depends on which one finishes last, creating confusion. Think of two cashiers updating the same inventory spreadsheet at once, and one overwrites the other's work. And finally, we have atomacy violation. An atomic operation should happen all at once, either fully done or not at all. When part of a process runs separately, another request can sneak in between and cause inconsistent results. It's like paying for an item, but before the system confirms it, someone else can change the price. For example, a payment is recorded, but the order confirmation fails because another request interrupts the process. Today's lab shows us exactly how these become real vulnerabilities. All right, enough talk. Let's get to hacking some things. All right, as you can see here, I got Day's 20 challenge pulled up. And also you can see that today we are going to need our attack box and we're going to need to start a VM. So I'm going to scroll down here to set up our virtual environment. I'm going to go ahead and click start attack box, and I'm going to go ahead and start our target machine. Now, those will take a couple minutes to go ahead and start up. Okay, once those start up, we can go ahead and complete our first task by clicking that we can successfully connect to our machines. Alrighty, now let's pull up the next part. All right, so once your attack box boots up, let's go ahead and open Firefox, and we got some setup to do before we can start hacking the website today. So very first thing we're going to do is open Foxy Proxy by clicking this little icon up here in Firefox, and we're going to select the Burp profile. This is going to be used for when we use Burp Suite a little bit later. All right. Now, with that going, let's go ahead and click on this icon here to launch Burp Suite. Now, before we start absolutely wrecking Santa's checkout system, I want to pause here for a second and talk about what Burp Suite actually is, because this tool is going to be doing a lot of the heavy lifting in today's challenge. Burp Suite is a web application security testing tool. At a high level, it sits between your browser and the website, acting like a man in the middle. This means every time you click a button, submit a form, or hit checkout, Burp can actually see the exact request your browser sends. It inspects the headers, cookies, and body. It can modify that request, replay it, or send it multiple times in a way that normal browsers would never be able to do. And this is exactly why Burp Suite is perfect for demonstrating race conditions. When you use a normal browser, you click once, the request goes out, the server responds, but attackers don't want to play by browser rules. With Burp Suite, we can capture a legitimate request, duplicate it, and then fire off multiple identical requests at the exact same time. That timing overlap is what exposes race condition bugs, because the server can't tell which request should win. As we go through this lab, Burp Suite is going to show us some really important things, like which exact URL handles the checkout, which HTTP methods are in place, like whether the app is using GET or POST for sensitive actions, the request parameters, things like product IDs, quantities, pricing, or order data, cookies and session tokens. This tells us how the application identifies us as a logged in user. Application logic flaws. Most importantly, we'll see whether the server properly handles multiple requests hitting the same logic at once. We're not guessing anymore. We're watching the app communicate in real time. And if Burp Suite looks overwhelming right now, don't worry, you don't need to know everything Burp can do for this challenge. Today, we're really only going to use two features: Proxy to capture the checkout request, and Repeater to resend that request in parallel. That's it. Think of Burp less like a hacking tool and more like a very powerful microscope that lets us see how applications actually work under the hood. Okay, now that Burp Suite is up and running, we got a few things to get traffic flowing from Firefox into Burp Suite. All right, so very first here, we're going to leave this setting at temporary project in memory and just go ahead and click next. We're going to leave the default configurations on this next screen as well. We're going to use Burp defaults, and we're going to click Start Burp. All right, with that, Burp Suite is up and running, ready to capture data, and we've already configured Firefox to send that information. So let's do what every good hackers do. We're going to make a normal, legitimate purpose, because before you can exploit a race condition, you need to understand exactly how the application behaves when everything goes right. Okay, now once Burp Suite opens, we want to go to the Proxy tab and turn intercept off. It's on by default. We want to make sure and turn that off. Okay, so we are at the login page for TBFC's shop. And what we need to do first is we need to do a legitimate purchase. So let's go ahead and log in, and they give you the credentials right here. So our username is attacker, and the password is attacker at 123. Okay, let's go ahead and log in. We're not going to save that. Okay, now that we're logged into the shopping cart, let's go ahead and double check and make sure that our Foxy proxy is turned on and sending our information to Burp Suite. Let's go ahead and double check here that everything is good on this side. If we go here, yep, we can see it's receiving information from the site. So let's go ahead and minimize that. Now, let's go ahead and proceed with a legitimate transaction so we can collect that data. So right here, here's the new sleigh toy that's a limited edition. Let's go ahead and click add to cart. Okay, so that's added now. Let's go ahead and go to checkout. And we're going to not touch any of this. We're just going to go ahead and click confirm and pay. Alrighty, that is done. We can click on view orders and we see that we've got a successful order here placed. Now let's go back into Burp Suite and see what information we collected. We're going to go ahead and click on the HTTP history here. And for this one, we're going to be looking for process checkout page right here. This is the page that actually sends the data. So let's go ahead and we're going to click on that, right click on it. We're going to go to send to repeater so we can actually start building our attack. Now we're going to come over here. Like I said, the second page we're going to be using the most is the repeater page. Okay, so we can see right here, here's the request that we're sending to their website. Now, the very first thing we're going to do, let's go ahead and right click on here and we're going to add tab to group and create a new group. And let's go ahead and call this cart and click create. Now, let's go ahead and create how many times we want this action to actually execute. So we're going to come over here, right click on this, and we're going to go ahead and duplicate this tab. And here we're going to say how many times we want to duplicate it. And that's going to be how many times that action is going to execute. So let's go ahead and duplicate it 10 times. All right. So once that is done, we're going to click on the drop-down menu next to the send button here, and we're going to send group in parallel. And we're going to go ahead and click send now. We're going to let it fire off its thing. Now, let's go ahead and go back here to Firefox. If we refresh our orders page, we can see that it's actually placed 12 orders total. We have our first original order, our authentic order, and then we have 11 more orders. And if we go back to shop, we can see we've actually oversold 2 items, which makes perfect sense. We've actually successfully completed the race condition. And as you can see right here, we have our flag. So we're going to go ahead and copy and paste that in. And there we go. Okay, you can see we have another opportunity to do that again with the bunny plush in blue. It looks like they only have 5 items in stock. So let's go through this whole thing again so we can try to capture that data. Let's go ahead and create our legitimate purchase by clicking add to cart. And we're going to go here to checkout, confirm and pay. All right. So we've got that order here. There's that new plush order. Let's go ahead and go back to Burp Suite and try to do that attack again. So we're going to go back here. Let's go ahead and clear out this group here. Close all the tabs in the group. Yes. And we'll close that very last one. Close tab. We're going to go over here to proxy and let's go ahead and scroll down and see if we can see another process checkout. There it is. So this is for that bunny. So let's go ahead and do the exact same thing. Right click on it, click send to repeater, click on the repeater tab. There it is again. So we're going to right click, add tab to group and create group. Let's go ahead and call this cart as well. Click create. And let's go ahead and place 10 more. Let's do 10 more. Let's go over. So we're going to duplicate this 9 times. So you can see we have 10 tabs here. Don't mind the numbering. I know it's all crazy looking. We're going to change this to send in parallel again, and we're going to send the group. All right, let's minimize that. Bring back up our Firefox and refresh the page. And there they are again. Now we should see, yep, we oversold it. So we have our one original order, then we bought 10 more. So we've actually oversold that by 6, and we can see we got our second flag here. It's as simple as that. That is just mind-blowing that you can actually do that. And that's exactly how a few milliseconds can break an entire system. Today, we saw how a perfectly normal checkout flow can turn into absolute chaos when an application isn't built to handle multiple requests at the same time. One legitimate request copied, replayed, and sent in parallel was enough to oversell inventory and push stock into the negative numbers. And that is why race conditions matter. It's not just in labs, but in real world systems like e-commerce, ticketing platforms, financial transactions, and anywhere timing really counts. The good news is these issues are preventable. With proper atomic transactions, validation, and controls in place, Santa's workshop can stay secure and the bandit bunnies don't stand a chance. If you're following along with the Advent of Cyber, keep going. Every single day builds on the last and gives you real practical skills that you actually use in IT and cybersecurity. Big shout out to TryHackMe for another fun Advent of Cyber challenge. I'll see you in the next rooms, and until then, remember, just because a system works once doesn't mean it works under pressure. Thanks for joining, and until next time, keep learning.